Beer is definitely a culture thing here on the Panhandle of Florida. So on today's episode, we're going to add a grunt style to our 850 brew tasting with Alpha Mike.
Right.
We're
on, dude.
All right. So I guess we'll start with the beer. I already did like an introduction. So this is my buddy Alex, and him and I have worked together for a little bit over a year now.
Yeah, it's been about that.
Yeah. So but I got all the beer. So we got Greaton Beach Brewery. I got an IPA from there. I did Hounds, Oyster City. Got one from Salty Oak, which is probably the most experimental one. And then I went down to El Weirdo. I got an El Weirdo beer. And then I got a beer from Destin Brewery. I didn't even know there was a brewery over in Destin. So that was something. And I'm sure, and people can leave in the comments and let me know if I missed one, because I'm sure, I think that there's a brewery not too far up the road near Cottondale. So this is supposed to be breweries that are in the 850, so in our area. So if that makes any sense.
Yeah. No, I'm excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll get started. And this is supposed to be the Ghost Crab Pilsner.
Ghost Crab.
Yeah, Pilsner. So, all right. Let's see here, dude. I was gonna get a score sheet, so we could sit there and be like, okay, which one was the most creative on the name? Which one was like most Idle Hounds is known for their Divide and Conquer, which is like a IPA. It's actually really good. Where's the alcohol percentage on this?
Oh, here we go.
4.5%. So, no. Ghost Crab Pilsner. Pilsner. That's kind of funny. Is that like a hockey mask on the crab?
Yeah. It's kind of so one thing about like IPAs and everything is like when I lived in Colorado, I got so burnt out on like IPAs because everything was IPA out there. And so all the breweries, man, like their big things were like IPAs. I mean, you had like Breckenridge, you had all these different breweries, man, like IPAs. So it's nice having like a solid, refreshing, light Pilsner.
Yeah, you don't want to get too caught up on, like, IPAs are good, but I got to be in the mood for them. I can't just drink an IPA for the heck of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, this is a good, solid, like, beer. But so Idle Hounds, something cool about them, they're the Greaton Beach Brewery and Idle Hounds are on the same road. So you, it's out. First of all, both of them are in Walton County. You got to go. It's a little past 30A. So right after Rosemary Beach, you keep going, and then they're in the industrial park. So, but they are literally on the same road. So Idle Hounds, though, I went there. They got a nice setup that's in there. If you ever want to go out there and just kind of enjoy, I think Greaton Beach Brewery has a little bit more to offer as far as for like kids and stuff. So like if you want to, like, they got cornhole, they got games, they got like darts and stuff like that, and they got a pretty large setup to sit. Idle Hounds is, I think they both produce about the same amount of beer for the area. But Idle Hounds is, I've always liked it. We used to do rides where we would hit up most of the breweries in one day. So we try to hit Oyster City, Idle Hounds, Greaton Beach, and of course they're a long way away. So like Apalachicola, you got to go for Oyster City. And they're known for their Hooter Brown, which I got. I don't remember what I got for today, but we'll take a look at it. But no, this is a Pilsner, even though they called it a Pilsner. That's kind of funny.
So I think Oyster City was the first like brand, like company of beer that I tried when I got out to this area from Colorado. I remember I stopped in stopped in Louisiana. I forgot what part it was, but I went to this liquor store restaurant kind of place, and I want to say I think I did try the Hooter Brown. It was definitely something like a little bit heavier.
Hooter Brown is strong.
Yeah.
Hooter Brown is, that's the reason why I was like, I knew we were going to drink it all day. So
yeah.
I was like,
load up on the Hooter Brown, man. Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not going to do Hooter Brown. I'm not going to do Divide and Conquer. Those are heavy, knock you on your butt. Now, I do got some stuff. Let's talk about the price point. So, Idle Hounds is, I think they're about $11.99 for a 6-pack.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's, dude, man, beer has gone up by so freaking much, bro. Dude, all right, so check it out. Oktoberfest, Samuel Adams. I remember being like right after turning 21, and like a 12-pack of Samuel Adams, I think was around the $13.99 price point.
Yeah.
And when it jumped to $15 a 12-pack, like we're talking a 12-pack, bro. When it jumped to $15 a 12-pack, I freaked out. Now, the other night, I just bought a Samuel Adams Oktoberfest 12-pack for $20 and I think like 96 cents. So it's just like $21 for a 12-pack.
Yeah. Of Sam Adams. Like they're not even I mean, not to hate on Sam Adams, but I mean, let's be real here. There are no like
Boston. Yeah. I don't understand what the appeal is with Boston Lager. Oktoberfest, I love. They used to have a cherry wheat that I love. The cherry wheat I like because it's really, really good for burgers. You can actually mix in like maybe 4 ounces in with your ground beef, and then with like an egg or whatever, and it's like freaking spot on. It's great. But the price of beer, I mean, it just shows what inflation is doing right now. If you look at stuff, because I guess hops have gone up, wheat's probably gone up. I mean, everything's gone up. But yeah, these companies that are trying to keep up, I think the mom and pop shops. So when you start talking about Idle Hounds, Greaton Beach, Oyster City, all of these companies are suffering right now to even try to keep. Dude, it did a.
Wow! Right when you said suffering.
It gave me fireworks.
Yeah, fireworks. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But I think a lot of these mom and pop shops are definitely suffering right now because of inflation, and they're trying to keep up with all these big boy brands. So.
Yeah. No, I agree. Which is crazy because you look at the quality, between like the big, obviously, like Budweiser, right? You look at the quality of those kind of beers versus, something like this. And it really does suck that these breweries, right? These like smaller kind of places that are actually putting out really good products are being affected by, the inflation and just kind of everything going on right now.
Yeah. That's something I'm noticing about this too. The clarity is great because normally whenever I drink a microbrewery type beer, like you start to see the remnants on the bottom of the glass. So there's Big River Brewery, which is on the boardwalk right outside Epcot. I think it's still there. They got good food, but they got good beer too. But if you get most of their beer, like after it sits there for a while, like the yeast and stuff starts to accumulate on the bottom, and it's always like, what the heck is this? Like, but you get that a lot with microbreweries, but you're not getting that with that at all. That's clean, clear, clarity, and all that.
May I? Yeah. Don't hassle me. I'm local.
This is a blood orange blonde ale. You know what I think is really, really funny? These companies are getting a free advertisement right now. Speaking of that, let's hear from one of our sponsors. Tired of the same old barbershops that treat you like cattle? Head on down to Gents Barber Lounge. Haircuts are great and conversations will keep you coming back for more. 7328 Thomas Drive, Suite H, right next to Mr. Surf Shop. Veteran and family friendly. Don't hassle me. I'm local.
Yeah, that's another thing too, man. Like this. So this is a blonde, and I was not really a fan of blondes until like the last maybe like few years.
Yeah, no, I'm more of a brunette guy.
Yeah, well, blondes hate me. I'm forced to be a brunette guy. Cheers on that,
dude. What is it? So I keep getting these. That is really refreshing. The clarity is weird.
Yeah, a little bit murkier.
Yeah,
I think that's I don't know what that is. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. All right, I don't know what causes the murkiness in beers, but
so I went. So keep in mind, anybody who wants to do a taste test on any of these beers that we're drinking, most of them can be bought from ABC. That's Greaton, Destin Brewery, Oyster City. And I think you can get most. I've never seen Destin Brewery in Publix. I was gonna say, so I didn't even know this was a beer brand until yesterday when I was in ABC Liquors. I ran out there. My full intention was to go to Greaton Beach and then Idle Hounds and then tell them, hey, I've got a podcast and it's for the 850 area and we're going to be tasting your beer tomorrow. But I was like, screw it. Chris was supposed to be on to do this with me. And I went out and I bought beer. Like I bought a couple of these different brands. And so I come home, I put them in the refrigerator and I was like, I'm going to go pick up a couple more. And then I texted him yesterday and I was like, hey man, I got all the beer to do the podcast. And he's like, man, I got so much going on. You know, he's got kids and stuff like that. And they are very active. And so they're always doing something. And so he texts me back. He's like, hey man, I'm not going to be able to do it. So this was his idea. We're doing it. And I know he's going to be like, dude, what the heck? You know, and I'm just going to be like, hey man, I told you could be on. I told you we could do this. Because we were going to talk about motorcycles and stuff like that. And then I kind of was like, actually, if I was going to drink beer with somebody, it's probably going to want to be another veteran. But what I want to do with him is I want to do local wine. Because both him and I do Dupont Winery. You came to mind. Dude, solid.
Yeah.
Love that place.
Definitely do the wine with Chris. I don't do wine a whole lot anymore. So if you were to do a wine tasting with me, dude, I'd be like, yeah, dude, this is wine. This is, yeah. So I have no idea, but like, you're like, yeah, this is the red kind. This is the not red wine.
There's a meme. There's a meme on Facebook. It was just kind of like, yeah. It was for The Office. That show, The Office.
Yeah.
And Steve Carell is like, this is a white. Like, this is a red. I'm a wine expert. This is a red. This is a white.
Yeah, that's basically like where, I mean, like when I was drinking wine, it came from like a bag inside of a box. So yeah. I wasn't really like, you know, but real quick, man. So you spent a lot of time in this area, right? Like,
well, I mean, I grew up.
You grew up here. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's really cool that you have this connection with like these breweries and the community, because that's what I feel like really sets, you know, like these, not just the beer, but the atmosphere, the people, the environment of the breweries apart from the bigger like companies. I feel like, not to get all, you know, mushy or whatever, but it's a way better way for people to just come together and actually interact.
Well, it's 100% a passion. Like these companies, here's the thing. This is what sucks. When being somebody that doesn't really have an interest in a business or a company that's local, and you're just a tourist, you're from out of town, or you might even be a local. When you look at these companies, you're not seeing the passion that really goes in behind it. You know, running for office, you know, for county commissioner or whatever. I kind of, obviously I learned a lot. But one of the things that I learned the most was these companies that are around here, even for the tourists who get most of they're not just another number. they started their company not just to make profit, because it was something that they had a passion for. And one of the most passionate things, and I know this sounds weird, especially to non-drinkers, because there's a lot of people that won't listen to this podcast just because it's about beer.
Yeah.
And whatever, it's. I think beer, like something you were talking about earlier, especially being a veteran, that's how we kind of communicate. We go and we have a beer with each other and talk with each other. That's how we connect. But getting back on topic, these companies brewing beer, because I have several friends that are brewers, you have to have a deep connection and a passion for it, or else it won't be successful.
Right.
Because there's so much time and effort that goes into the fermentation process, and then you're having to stay along with that, having to taste things as it goes along. And then you fermented something from scratch, something that takes time. You can bake bread all day long, right? You can put your yeast in there with the flour, stir it up, eggs, whatever, and knead it, and then put it in an oven, and it comes out within like an hour or two, and you share that bread with somebody, and then people taste the bread and they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's like, yeah, I made it from scratch. Same thing with beer. It is a process that is drawn out. It's an art. And these companies, they get together or they don't get together, but these companies, they come together as a group of people and they create something that's good for your palate. And so you want to be complimented on the things that you do, but brewing, yeah, man, I obviously I'm not a brewer myself. I'd like to get into brewing. I've done a lot of mead. I do a lot of mead.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
dude.
I've got some meads that are pretty decent. But again, that's one of those things. You spend so much time. You pick out the right honey. You get the right yeast. You get the fruits and notes that you want in there with it. Then you ferment it. Then you have to rack it 3 or 4 times over like 4 or 5 months span of time. And then you come out with that finished product of that nice wine that you're looking for, and you can kind of test the smoothness and everything like that. And then you're able, again, with these brewers, they're able to take something and they're able to kind of like subtract what they don't like, what they do like, and then they're able to keep perfecting it. I think that's one of the main things that keeps brewers going as well. Adam Carroll, he's the brew guy over at Salty Oak, and I've got a beer. I've got a beer here for you.
Yeah,
Salty
do you,
Oak. Dude? Okay, so check this out. They did that Beetlejuice. We'll get to it in a second. But something that I like about Adam is when that guy talks about beer, it's poetry. Like it is,
like
and I'm not trying to sound good.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
he's got a passion for it.
It's a passion. Like you can feel, and that's a guy that's creating something that is for you. And it's really, really cool. Like if you really get down to it.
When you go to a different area, right? When you go to like a different part of the country, breweries, these small brew houses, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're tasting the area's culture. It's like you're getting how do I say this? You're experiencing the culture of the area through the beer.
Yeah.
In a way.
No,
if that makes sense. I mean, because it's like when you go out, man, and you get something like a Budweiser, you're just like, you're at a bar and you're just like, yeah, I'll take a Michelob, or I'll take a Budweiser, I'll take a Bud Light, I'll take a Coors, whatever. It's like very generic. There's not like a lot of heart into it, and it's just kind of like, all right, like whatever, I'm drinking beer. But like if you go somewhere, like you fly in, you're at a different place you've never been before, like. Yeah, dude, like there's so much. I mean, there's definitely like a distinct difference, right, between like a craft from Colorado versus a craft like all the way down in Florida. I mean, it's like you can taste it. And then these different areas, right, they use like local ingredients, or they have like their own little spin on things. Yeah. And it's really awesome to see.
These guys aren't making, they're not coming in hand over fist with cash. Just making, dough. Like they are, I'm not saying they're scraping by either, but it's a love. you're gonna have to love what you're doing to be able to stick with it. I don't even think most of the guys that are becoming like brewers or master brewers, I don't think they stick with it for very long before they move on to another brewery because they're always trying to, come. They're just like artists. You know, it's literally an art form. So this is Proof Brewing. This is the Mango Wit. It is a Bayesian style mango wheat ale. So Proof Brewing. I don't know much about them. Let's see here. Where are they from? Does it even say?
It
says our mango.
Oh, Tallahassee.
Tallahassee.
Still in the E50, bro.
So, yeah. Cheers.
Yep. Cheers. Ooh.
All right. Personally,
I got to say, I prefer this one over the previous blonde. Not saying that the Don't Hassle Me wasn't good.
Yeah.
This one this is so smooth.
Huh.
This is very smooth.
Yeah.
At least for my palate.
Wheat beers. Like, what is your favorite wheat beer? I know Blue Moon is a good wheat beer. Shock Top is a good wheat beer.
it's definitely not one of the, I guess, like big companies. Like I used to be a Shock Top guy. Not so much anymore. Used to be a Blue Moon guy. Don't really mess with those anymore.
I had a time in my life where I was really big into Shock Top.
Same.
But
Were you in? Like, were you military when you were, or
what, into Shock Top?
yeah?
No, when I was in the military, it was Bush Light.
Got that Bush Light.
Bush.
Because I remember the first time we hung out and we went on that ruck in Conservation Park, and I was like, and then like
You look at me and you're like, he's not going to be able to keep up.
well, no, that's generally like the stereotype is someone who's like the kind of like short, like stockier kind of build.
Yeah.
Is it just typically gives them a harder time. And then you sent me like a run you did later that was like a sub 13 minute like what was it?
mile.
2? No, I'm talking. You sent me like a run on like Strava or something.
Yeah,
It was like a really good pace. I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, because when you think of like runners, right? They're typically like, kind of
Tall,
lankier,
lanky,
leaner.
yeah.
Like they have like a lot of they have that stride.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you just got this like brick shit house just hauling ass like down wherever he's going, dude. So yeah, I was actually like really.
Well, it was always
impressed.
really
And
funny. When I was in the military, that was a thing because you'd have like these Abercrombie and Fitch models that were just like shredded to a T. They looked great, bodybuilder type, just deadlift 500 pounds, just great dudes. And I'm not talking trash about it, but then it was like, dude, come Monday run day. Yeah, no. So yeah, Ron, Keel is up ahead of the pack, and it's like, hey, you guys gonna speed up? It's like, I remember, it's like my second week, being in the 101st, and my platoon sergeant, I think I can't remember his name, Sergeant, whoever, we were doing Indian runs. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah,
You start in the
yeah,
back and you run. And then and then you jog at the front.
Yeah.
Well, my jog was like a 7:45.
Everyone else's sprint basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a 7:45 pace as a jog for me.
How long were you?
65 pounds.
How long was the Indian run? Like, what was the distance you guys would go?
Dude, a mile maybe.
Oh.
Wasn't very long.
Yeah. No.
By the time I had, but then, I remember him pulling me over to the side and he's like, you jog. And I'm like, I am jogging, dude. This is my jog. You are slow.
Bro, dude, yeah. Hey, Sarge, you're too slow for me, dude. Yeah.
You are slow. And then it was like, I've never been like this Greek god looking dude. I've always had a little bit of tub on me, which actually, in some of the ultras that I've done, I mean it's helped, because you're able to burn.
Yeah.
a little bit more. You're able to hold on to a little bit more because I carried so much weight around for so long. My body likes to hold on to water a little bit, so I got that water retention going on and those extra fat cells. So going on long distance running, that's my bread and butter because I'm just able to go longer without water or without extra calories. Like for some reason, I'm just built that way. I guess people are like, doing half marathons in October, November, and they're having to hit these aid stations. And I never wanted to hit an aid station just because I had such a good pace going.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm good. Like, I don't feel bad or anything. Normally, when I hit about that 17-mile, 18-mile mark, though, if I haven't had any type of electrolyte or any type of water by then, I start to feel that burning in the calves and stuff like that. So, but yeah, no. Beer the night before? Dude, bro. I drink like a sixer the night before, about 10 o'clock. And then show up to, the starting line around 6:30 and gun goes off at 7. Bro, that's my jam. Heart rate gets about 144 to about 147 beats per minute. Dude, you ain't catching me. I'm gone.
See, I'm like the opposite is I don't like having beer the night before, stuff like that, because it makes me feel like too heavy. I feel too sluggish with that kind of stuff.
I'm able to refill. Well, the reason why is because, again, being on keto, because I'm normally on keto until the night before a race or 2 days before the race. I start doing that carbo load bullcrap. I don't believe in that, but liquid calories like this is great because you're building up those glycogen stores in your liver. And then that's where you're pulling from throughout that race. And so, yeah, dude, you feel sluggish for about the first 3 or 4 miles. Once you burn off some of that water weight, so you'll lose, dude, I used to know how many milliliters of water I would lose per every 4 miles. I did a advanced study done by FSU and ran on the treadmill. They checked my VO2 max and everything like that. And so I was kind of able to see how much water I was losing, how much liquid I was losing per like 4 miles and then whatever. So like I had that math kind of calibrated down to a science and then I was able to do that. But you start getting it, man, you can get in the weeds with that really, really quick. And most of your triathletes and guys that are sponsored, dude, they're so in tune with their nutrition, water management, and calorie management that it starts to get ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no,
they're nerds.
I definitely know
nutritionists on bicycles.
Yeah, I definitely know like plenty of people that are that way.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like a happy in between, but yeah, dude, no, you were made for the infantry. Like it's like the ideal of just like, yeah, I'm gonna get absolutely trashed and then just dominate the next day. It's just like, bro, like,
I can't do it as much anymore.
You're not a regular person.
Yeah.
You're not a human anymore. Like, you're not.
El Weirdo. They're very proud of their beer there. And when I say that, it's like the price, man. So I got 3 of these Crowlers, and so the girl said that most of these are like 2 beers in 1 can.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got 3 of these.
Okay.
They're all different flavors. How much do you think this was?
Just one.
No, all 3 of them.
All 3. Dude, I'm gonna say. Dude, 40.
44, yeah.
Yeah, that was
$44 for 3 of these.
Yeah.
Now
it's a sour.
This right here is Spicy SquarePants. It is a sour. I think this is the one that's habanero. It is 6.2%. Dude, I can't get over the price. The girl, I'm not trying to complain. Listen, I do well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, dude, that's just, you're starting to kind of like get into
Well, I think it's also one of those things too, man, where it's just like, yeah, it's expensive, but it's kind of like, maybe they're doing what they kind of have to do to actually like make a profit.
Yeah, and so Alan Ranch owns this place as well. I'm supposed to be having him on for a podcast as well. He's pretty an influential person when it comes to the city of Panama City. But I am supposed to have him on. So,
Cheers. Cheers. Even though you poured yours like a schoolgirl on prom night, but whatever. That's really good.
I love that.
So I gotta be honest. Okay,
Ooh.
I
even taste the habanero on the back end.
I'm not a fan of sours.
That right there is like a cider.
Yeah, no, that's what I was like thinking. That's
like a cider, bro.
Yeah,
that is good. I'm not a fan. So check this out. So history class, history class.
Yeah.
On the in Panama City, it's the same owner of history class brewery and El Weirdo. However, I like the beers at El Weirdo better. I did not add a history class beer to this.
I've heard the same thing from different people.
History class is their food is really, really good.
Yeah.
El Weirdo has good food. History class has good food, but their beer, I'm just not a fan. But El Weirdo, they're the ones that have like the more experimental type beer. I like that.
Which I think like the experimental stuff, dude, is just like, I feel like that's such a big reason why you're going to a brewery. You want to try stuff that
you want to try something that's new.
Yeah, you want to try something different. You want to try something new. You want to try something that like isn't just like your typical like Budweiser kind of just piss throwaway beer.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's really good.
It's lemonade.
And it's like the
you got like the lemonade, but there's like a cream habanero on the back end.
Yeah, but the habanero is not strong. Like it's not overpowering.
No,
you can taste it, but it's not. It doesn't linger. It doesn't burn. It's not like overpowering. You're not going to get heartburn from it.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, no,
this is very good.
I really like that.
Yeah, I'm actually a fan. The first time trying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, me?
Yeah.
I tasted it in like a little yesterday.
Yeah, but I feel like
by there to go pick it up.
For something like this, I feel like you really need to like have like a full glass, right? To really like get the I guess.
You're looking at me like.
Well, no, I was trying to think of words. I'm like, never mind. Edit that out.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, you need the full glass. No, that's really good.
No, dude,
Yeah.
I really like that.
And again, I'm not a fan. Like Golden Monkey.
I don't know if it's so if you do the math, 44 divided by 3.
11. No. Oh man,
dude.
16.
There's a reason why I didn't do the math. 16.
Yeah, we'll call it $16
for a freaking can, bro. It's like a Foster's can. Would you pay $16 for that though? That just seems a little high. I mean, listen, I know Alan might listen to this. Alan, I'm not busting your balls, but I am gonna say,
we'll $15.
Bro,
$15.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That's quite a bit of money for a beer.
That's really good.
I would have them do me a full keg of that. That is good. I love that. Yeah, you like the Freedom Lounge.
Yeah, I love the Freedom Lounge. You still got your kit hanging out right there?
Yeah.
Was that your kit? Like, was that?
No.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I know some units were like pretty chill about like what plate carriers you wanted to use, and others were like very. You have to use the ones that are issued.
Yeah,
we don't give them to you.
101st is like that.
Yeah.
And then because like you said, when I was in, there was nothing really going on. Deployments were kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Like, there was.
It was especially for for a grunt,
Yeah.
right? And like an
Yeah, yeah.
infantryman, because when you deploy,
My brother got to do some cool shit. My brother was a 19 Delta. He was on the border. He was on the border of like Turkey and Syria.
Really?
Yeah.
What year?
That would have been 2018.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there was stuff popping up.
There's always going to be stuff like over there. But it's like,
I know when they left, there was a lot that was transpiring. Because I think that's when that special forces team got wiped. Yeah. And there were some,
what did you do as a contractor?
The company that I worked for or got hired by, yeah, I mean, it was PP. It was personal protection.
Oh, okay. So, you went that route after.
Yeah, no,
okay.
I didn't do anything crazy. Like, it's not like I was.
Oh no, I'm saying no. That's a great. I know some dudes who like went that route, like
Yeah.
kind of after, and I mean, like it's a good thing to do, especially
great,
after
but
getting
when
out of
you-
active duty.
It's great, but what the hell are you going to do with it when you go to the civilian world?
That's another thing, man. Yeah.
You can go be. So I had opportunity to go work as private security for a couple of influential people, like in Hollywood, and then also like sports.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all you're going to do, and you don't get paid very well. I mean, you get paid, but it's not.
Yeah. Well, and the life too.
Yeah, when you start looking into it, it's like, okay, this is going to pay 6 figures a year, but you're away from your kids.
Right.
And so I got hired to go to Afghanistan in February of 2021.
Okay.
And I was leaving on January the 7th or 8th. And my itinerary was done. Visa's in. Everything's good to go. And then Nia was pregnant with Ragnar. And she was like, no, like, I don't want you going, all this. And I was like, I was gung-ho. I was like, no, I'm ready to go, whatever. I'd done several different schools when I got out of the Army on new tactics that had come around. Most of the guys who run the schools that I went to or the clinics, they were all special operators, tier 1 guys.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot. I learned a lot from those guys. And then my wife actually applied kind of without my permission to a contractor here for NSWC PCD.
Mm.
And so she applied, and I got a call one afternoon, and it was like, hey, we got your resume in. We want to do an interview. And I was like, who are you? And I'll never forget it. Joe Harden, who is now a civvy at NSWC PCD. He was at SAIC. I think he was at SAIC for about 18 years. And he called me and he said, hey, I want to interview you. I came in, and the job was for a technical writer role. I was like, I don't know anything about technical writing. I don't know anything about that. I don't want a technical write. Logistics, psh, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm going to Afghanistan, dude. It's already done. I'm leaving on that, And so, and I went to the interview, and I told them in the interview, like literally, there were several people in there. I even had what I consider almost kind of like a second, sister. I actually don't keep in contact with her anymore, but her name was Kristen, and she had sat there, and she was part of the interview process. And I had told all of them that were in there, I was like, hey, I'm leaving in like a week. So if you guys are going to make a choice on whether or not you want to hire me or not, whatever. I'm just letting you know I'm leaving, and, my job is whatever. They called me back. I think it was like 2 or 3 days afterwards, and they're like, we're offering you the position. And I was like, no, I don't want it type thing. And because I was in front of Nia, the recruiter from SAIC was like, nah, man, this is the offer that we're putting out there on the table. And Nia was like, take it. And I was like, damn it. And so Nia was like, take it. And I was like, this is because so I was supposed to leave February. I was going to be back something stupid like August something, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I know 3 dudes that left on that contract in February, and they didn't get back till November because that was the year that we pulled out.
Yeah.
And they were stuck there, and their stories, bro, they're crazy. Part of me's like, man, it would have been badass to been part of the pullout initiative and all of that, where they dealt with Taliban and stuff like that, or at least the stories that I've heard. And I was like, man, dude, that would have been freaking sick. But like now that I'm like thinking about it, I was like, man, but I was here for the birth of my son, which was towards the end of January, and so I mean, I really didn't miss out on anything. But actually, that's what's funny. I recently had somebody after my campaign of running for office. They were like, I have a cousin that works for the CIA, and I know everything I need to know about you. And I'm like, I was supposed to be contracted out through the CIA? I don't know if that's what you're referring to.
Very yeah.
I'm like, it was kind of funny.
I never knew that, actually. I never knew that you actually like contracted like before coming into this position.
So they're normally looking for those tier 1 guys. They're never really looking for guys like me that have, obviously there's some specialized training that's there, but nothing to hold a light to what a lot of guys, are more subjected to. I wanted to do, because there's several things that come up every once in a while where just you'll have missionary groups that want to go into certain areas of Africa or something like that, and they're always like, hey, we'll take a security guy with us, and then you go and you do stuff like that. But as far as like big work where you're actually going in and you're part of a process to gain intel for national security purposes, they're going after tier 1 operators for that. They're not going after,
I mean, well, and that comes down to like specialization.
Yeah.
Right. Like they're looking for dudes who like that is their bread and butter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, shout out to Allen Branch and the El Weirdo. They got some good tacos there. They got like a food truck that's like right next to it, but then I think a lot of these places are starting to realize that food trucks are the way to go, but there has something to do with the licensing behind it. There's something that has to do with the permits. So they have a food truck instead of a certified kitchen.
Yeah.
I think that's how they're doing it. So they kind of work that way. Oyster City, Apalachicola, they have gone through so much, especially after Hurricane Michael. They dealt with, so this is where a lot of our oysters come from. Whenever people talk about Appalachian oysters.
I'd hope so. It's Oyster City, dude.
Yeah. Apalachicola oysters have always kind of like been like the thing. And now I think that there's like some sort of, when we're talking about the licensing and stuff like that on there, they're not able to, I think it was like a 7-year ban or something like that on oysters. I have to look it up, but they've gone through a lot. And so through this beer that they create over there are a hard, when you talk about Apalachicola, when you talk about Port St. Joe, when you talk about that area, especially after Hurricane Michael, even before that, this is the hard-working class of the Panhandle. They are not a major tourist destination. Everything that's coming out of there are fishermen. Of course, you got your oyster guys. This is a very, very hardworking community. So when you drink a beer from there, you are drinking a piece of history that is kind of connected to that type of group of people. So I have a lot of respect for that area of Florida. And this is an IPA that is 6.9%, which is pretty high. Yeah. God, almost 7% alcohol for an IPA. Let's try it. Yeah, we only got, well, technically, I have 2 more beers down here from El Weirdo.
My God.
And then I've got a beer from Salty Oak, and then, what is that? Is that Greaton? Because we haven't had a Greaton beer yet.
We haven't did Grayton.
God, dude.
So I gotta say, so as we pour, right? As we pour, I have to say, it has been ages since I've had
An IPA.
Well, okay, maybe not ages, because normally like IPAs, they are my airport beer because it's like, well, it's already $8. I might as well get something that's like strong. Yeah. So I typically don't do IPAs, so it has been a while since I poured like a good glass. Probably since last November.
Look at the clarity on that. That's actually really.
It's actually really
good.
yeah. Because a lot of IPAs are like very like murky, cloudy,
Yeah.
So I'm kind of dude, cheers.
Yep.
Kind of. Let's see how this goes.
Ooh, that stings.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely got the bitter. Whew, buddy.
Yeah, it's hopped. That's hopped up. Yeah.
You can definitely tell that's a.
But the aftertaste, I'm a fan of the aftertaste. Honestly, I can't put my finger on it, but it's almost like a creamy-ish aftertaste for me, anyways. Like it doesn't leave a strong hoppy like taste in your mouth. I don't know how you feel, man. Like your facial expressions are telling me the complete opposite. Just fucking that mic right now. Just
Like,
making love
like-
to it.
Like.
Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts on it?
Let
Let me just have a few more cans.
Ooh. That's an IPA, man.
It's definitely an IPA.
There's
but
some IPAs that I like, and they're very, very light. You can taste it, like a little bit. You need the bitterness. That's pretty freaking strong. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna hit this.
yeah, dude, hit it. So you know Voodoo Ranger. You know, yeah, they sell it everywhere.
I used to have a buddy of mine who was so freaking hardcore Voodoo Ranger.
I used to be too.
Super hardcore Voodoo Ranger. Like, loved it. Actually, the guy that I was talking about earlier, tall, lanky guy, built like a runner. He loved Voodoo Ranger. He liked that and Dragon Stouts.
Dragon Stout's good.
Dragon Stouts are just, dude, I just
They're-
can't. Dude, if I taste a bourbon barrel in my beer, I just start to kind of get queasy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's something you like. One or two is fine for me. But as far as like the IPAs go, yeah, I used to be a big Voodoo Ranger guy because I mean, again, you know, not to go back to Colorado, but like they're from Colorado, so they everywhere. So those ones compared to this, I would say I actually personally prefer this one over Voodoo Ranger.
Really?
Because Voodoo Ranger, it has a stronger, like hoppy, like very like bitter IPA taste. And the aftertaste is definitely, you're just like, fuck yeah, I just drank an IPA. This one for me is after, you know, I take like a good drink, I don't have that like bitter, lingering, hoppy aftertaste going on.
Yeah.
So I personally, not being an IPA guy anymore, I like this one. I like this one.
Man, dude, that's just so. How many beers have we drank?
All of them.
This is the Beetlejuice beer from Salty